evening, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Beyond Medicine, where we are going to meet a group of doctors from different specialties who are passionate about cycling. Dr. Murli will be talking to them, and each of them is cycling in a different way. So we'll get to that once Dr. Murli gets going. So Dr. Murli is a senior interventional radiologist at Chennai. He did his MBBS from Coimbatore Medical College and MD Radio Diagnosis from Gujarat University. He obtained his postdoctoral certificate course in neuro and vascular intervention from Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute. He's an expert committee member for the FNB in neurovascular intervention of the National Board Examinations. He's a reviewer of the Indian Journal of Radiology and Imaging and Journal of Clinical Interventional Radiology. Dr. Murli's special interests and expertise includes neuro and spinal vascular intervention, endovascular aortic aneurysm repair, including TEVAR and EVAR, peripheral vascular stenting, embolization procedures for bleeding, tumor embolization, and laser RF ablation, hepatobiliary procedures, and CT guided procedures. So I'm telling all this just to let the audience know that the doctors here are all serious practitioners. It's not like they have a lot of time on their hands. It's just that they make time to do what they like. Joining us soon will be Dr. Amalur Pavanathan. Those from Tamil Nadu and anyone who has anything to do with the organ transplant will know him. Nevertheless, for formality, I will introduce Dr. Amal did his MBBS from Madras University, MS General Surgery and Diploma National Board, and then vascular surgery also from University of Madras. He's currently the member health of the Tamil Nadu State Planning Commission, steering statewide health system strategy. He's a senior consultant and head of transplant process as MGM Healthcare. He's a chairperson of the Institutional Review Board at CMC Vellore. For decades, he's been working hard in the transplant. He was the architect and former member secretary of TransTan, the cadaver organ sharing program, which was even lauded by the World Health Organization and cited by the Prime Minister of India as a national model. He's a Supreme Court appointed commissioner for transplant related research. We are very happy to have a young Dr. Gaurav Khanna. He's currently working as assistant professor and consultant at Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Faridabad. Dr. Gaurav did his post-graduation from Government Medical College, Amritsar, and fellowship in hepatopathology from ILBS, New Delhi. He has more than 30 national and international publications and has presented many interesting cases and given lectures at national and international platforms. He's even authored a book chapter in liver pathology. We are very glad to have Dr. Ashish Kumar Saini. Dr. Saini did his MBBS from King George Medical College, MS also from King George Medical College, Lucknow, and he was a gold medalist in MCH Urology from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He's currently the director and founder of Excel Advanced Urology Center in Delhi. He's also the ex-director and HOD of Department of Urology, Primus Super Specialty Hospital, and previously worked as an assistant professor at All India Institute. His areas of special interest are endourology and minimally invasive surgery, uro-oncology and reconstructive surgery, and robotic surgery. His hobbies include no guesses cycling. He's an ultra cyclist and the first urologist in the world to compete in the PBP 223 Paris 1,200 kilometer cycling with 11,500 meters of elevation. He also runs, swims, does gardening, and like most of us, likes to read books. Due to unavoidable circumstances, Dr. Sridevi, who's a oncologist at Cancer Institute, Chennai, will not be able to join. We will really miss her. Dr. Uma Revati is currently professor at Sri Venkateshwara Dental College and Hospital. Her areas of interest include basic research methodology, functional appliance, skeletal anchorage, biomechanics, and growth of the craniofacial system. She's an endurance cyclist with the 2 times international super randonneur title from Auto Club of Paris. She has authored over 25 peer-reviewed journals and many as the first corresponding author. Last but not the least, we have Dr. Naveen Alexander, who's a general and laparoscopic surgeon with over 18 years of experience in clinical practice. He's currently the professor of Department of General Surgery at Sri Ramchandra Medical College and Research Institute, Chennai. He specializes in minimally invasive surgery. He has done fellowships from the Royal Colleges of Edinburgh and Glasgow and the American College of Surgeons and Indian Association of Gastrointestinal Endosurgeons. Dr. Alexander is deeply involved in humanitarian efforts. He actively participates in providing low cost and free surgical care to underprivileged communities and has contributed for disaster relief missions, including tsunami and flood rehabilitation. He has done over 20 clinical studies which have been published in peer-reviewed journals. So this is the academic side of it, but today we are going to focus on their cycling. So over to you, Dr. Murali Krishnaswamy. You went to great trouble to put this panel together, and over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, madam, for the kind introduction. Has Dr. Amal joined? Not yet, no?
No, I spoke to him. He'll be joining shortly, about a minute or two.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank the Learning General Surgery group headed by Dr. Patta and Vidya madam has been organizing all these meetings every Thursday. And today we will discuss hobby or an exercise, whatever you want to call it, cycling. Cycling is something which we all have done in our childhood days. And I know that many of the people who are here, who are 50 plus, would have cycled to school, would have gone on a cycle to various places in the city. And for most of us today in this panel, we know that we are into some more, a little more serious. We are more serious about cycling, mostly as an exercise. Usually it starts as an exercise, then it goes into something more different and it takes a lot of turns. So today, as Madam said, we have got a elite panel of cyclists. So without wasting much time, let me start into the discussions. So let me start with calling Dr. Naveen Alexander, a general surgeon. He cycles quite a lot in the mornings. Naveen, my first question to you is, I think you go to your hospital at morning 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
And you work there till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Then you go back to your clinic, then you go home, take care of your family, and still you find time for cycling. How do you manage that, Naveen? Can you just elaborate?
It's a very thin line between managing that time and getting divorced, sir, number one. So what it starts is, I think I became a little more of a hardcore cyclist during the COVID times. And that time, of course, we all had a lot of free time to go. But lately, it has been very tough to, adjust the times. And it, uh, thankfully, what is happening is I keep getting up earlier and earlier. Now I wake up without an alarm at 3:30, and by 4:30 I'm on the road, and I'm back home by 6:15 maximum, and then the work day starts. Good thing is I'm sleeping better. I sleep very early. By 8:45, 9, I'm in bed, and social outings have definitely taken a beating for me. People stop calling me now because they know I won't show up anymore. So that's one good thing I feel, which has been a good byproduct of this. Yes, sir.
So you are more of a early morning cyclist, right, Naveen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you don't do cycling at the other, I mean, on the weekend or holidays or something like that, you cycle more or you still restrict your...
Yes. No, unfortunately, I run a Saturday unit, and invariably there is leftover emergencies on Sunday mornings. So I was very happy when I was an associate professor and I had the free time. But as a chief, I'm bound to help out in certain situations. So the Saturday and Sunday have actually taken a beating for me. It's more of the weekdays rather than the weekends for me.
Okay. Thank you, Naveen. We'll again come back to you.
Yes, sir.
And I'm seeing Professor Amal has joined us. Amal, sir, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well, sir.
Good evening to everyone.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to this discussion on cycling. Sir, I think with all the members here, you have been you are the senior most member in this group. I want to ask you, why did you first of all take up cycling, sir, as an exercise?
Oh, I took up to cycling because there was a cycle at home. That's all.
Okay.
My son bought a cycle during his school days. And
Okay.
once he finished his school and joined
College. If you possible, your voice is low, Amal.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear it better, sir.
Yeah. I took up to cycling because there was a cycle at home and no other special reason. My son had a cycle during his school days, and after school he promptly dropped it, and because it's out of fashion for a college going boy to go by cycle. So the cycle was lying at home getting rusted. So I started using it for my exercises. No other special reason for that. Unlike most of you, I don't own a very fashionable cycle. I have this discarded cycle of my son, and which I refurbished and which I use now. It's close to 15 years, definitely. It's an old cycle, no gears, nothing. You can just cycle with that, that's all.
So what time of the day you cycle, sir? You cycle in the mornings or in the evenings? Or
Unlike Naveen, I don't get up early for two reasons. One, I'm a lazy person. Second, I have this allergic rhinitis. When I get out into the cold, I start sneezing. So I go slightly later by 6:30, and I neither time my cycling nor clock my kilometers, etc. I drive for my pleasure, and I do it as long as I feel like doing, and I come back home. That's all. I don't count anything. I don't even have a watch which clocks these things. Nothing. I don't even have a special attire for cycling and all. I just go with my lungi and shirt and cycle and come.
Okay. So that's quite interesting, sir. And maybe see, when most of us meet a doctor, they always tell as an exercise, do walking. It is very safe. It is the best for your body. It doesn't harm you. How do you rate cycling? Because I don't think you do regular walking. You do mostly cycling.
As I said, I'm basically a lazy person.
Okay.
With walking, you can always stop and come back home.
Okay.
Cycling, once you go out for some distance, then you can't stop midway. You'll have to cycle and come back. So you'll have to finish that. So second thing is, I don't like talking while walking. So many people saying hello and good morning, and doctor, did you look at my leg? And doctor, there's an ulcer in my great toe, etc. So if you want to avoid all those things, you better take up to cycling, so you don't have to talk to anyone. So those are the two reasons why I took up to cycling.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you later when we discuss some more aspects of safety in cycling. We have Dr. Ashish who has joined us. See, cycling as you do it only for exercise for a couple of hours or maybe less than 1 hour every day. Naveen, though he does serious cycling, he does it for a couple of hours. The next level in cycling, which many of us took up, is doing something called as randonnering. This is done by the ADOX. It's an organization from Paris which has got various branches in the country. And in this cycling, people do kilometers like 200, 300 kilometers, 400 kilometers, and 600 kilometers within a specific time period. If you do all these events, these 4 events in one calendar year, somebody is called as a super randoner. And I want to introduce one super randoner like this. He is Dr. Ashish, and he's a urologist. I know he has done this a couple of times. And as people stop doing this super randonering, the next step they do is go to Paris and do this very prestigious ride called as Paris-Brest-Paris, which is a 1,200 kilometer long ride, which we should complete within 90 hours. And Dr. Ashish has completed all these things. Dr. Ashish, I think you're also a very, very busy person in practice. Now, why did you take up such endurance events? We know we all use cycling only for exercise, but you have gone to the other extreme of doing a lot of endurance events. So what made you to do this? Can you please elaborate on that?
So basically, it started in 2021, and there were a bunch of my college friends from AIMS, and they posted that they had done a tour of Nilgiris on cycle, and I was really surprised that how could you go on a tour of Nilgiris on cycle? And then he's a neuroanesthesiologist, and he said that I have bought a cycle, and the cycle cost almost 1,25,000 rupee, and I was like shocked that a cycle can cost that much. So I said that I want to join your group, and maybe with time I'll see. So I bought a small, simple cycle, and I went there. And then after 3-4 months, I feel that I got a roadie. So from a hybrid bike, I shifted to a roadie, and then we did our first endurance event where we went from Delhi to Alwar and back. It was 120 kilometers going and then coming back, and I was the first person to complete it. So I felt that as if it was pure meditation for me. And then I thought that I'll become an SR. So within 6 months, became a super endonier. So literally, it becomes so addicting that you feel as if the human body is limitless. You don't feel anything. So it started that the cycling base started, and then we did the PVP also. And after that, felt that we should start. I can start running, and then I became an Ironman. I did the half one, and this year I'll be going for a full. I feel that once you are challenging your body and you are challenging it again and again, that is basically something where there's a goal, and if you are taking steps in the right direction, you can achieve anything. So for me, it was like competing against myself to be better every other day. And despite having a busy schedule, if I can do it, this is how I tell my patients that if I can take so much of time, then you should also have to exercise. As a doctor, the life expectancy of a doctor is the least in India. So when we are prescribing our patients, we have to set an example in front of them that no, we are also fit, and therefore we tell them that with the medicine you can also become fit, but you have to have these lifestyle changes. So basically, and then I got a lot of friends who inspire me, and we build a community around it. So basically, we build an ecosystem, and therefore we are able to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ashish, for this very, very elaborate response. I want to just get on to another point. When you are talking about on cycling, you are telling it is some sort of meditation.
Yeah.
So can you harp a little bit more on that? Because this is a common statement made by people who do long distance rides. So can you just harp on that a little bit more? What do you mean by meditation? How it really helps you to calm down? Yeah.
So basically what happens is that when you are doing an ultra cycling event, something beyond 200 kilometers, it's all your mental game. So your body may be tired, but your mind is basically so much aligned. Like if you are descending down a hill, which is you are descending at 50 kilometers. So basically your cycle and yourself, you become one. So it's one body which is going down. So it's a feeling which people have it, and once you have it, you don't you basically are addicted to it. The other thing is that you don't feel about anything else. It's you and your cycle, nothing else in you. We are not looking into the phone call. We don't listen to any music. It's just you and your cycle and the rhythm of the cycle, the way uh, the gears are working, the way the wheels are moving. So you can actually feel it. So that is what I call it. It's more like a meditation to us when we are doing it. So it's that's how you carry on for a long time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll again come back to you, Dr. Ashish. Now, see, when we have seen a lot of guys making their viewpoints. Today, Dr. Sridevi could not join us. She is a very busy onco-surgeon from Adyar Cancer Institute. Now we have Dr. Uma, who is again another busy prosthodontist. She is also from Chennai. She has done a couple of, 3 times the super antenna title. And Dr. Uma, are you online? Are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir, very much.
Very much. So I know that as a lady who has taken up this hobby, I mean, it's not a very easy thing because you have to run your family. because still our Indian system still feels the traditional system. We always feels the lady has to take up more responsibilities. For them to get time to do a hobby like this, it is very tough. How did you manage to start this, and how did you convince your family that you're going to do such long events? Can you just tell us a few things about how you managed to do that?
Sure, sir. First of all, just excuse me for joining a little bit late, sir. That was actually a very nice question. See, the first thing I would like to say is...
Madam, can you be a little bit loud? Your voice is a little less.
Okay. Can you hear me now, sir? I'll come a little bit closer. Or would you want
Yeah,
me
it's
to
better. Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually a very good question from your end. See, whenever a woman is being seen from any perspective, the first thing that every other person likes to ask is, how do you manage your family and your time? The thing is, I don't take any time actually away from my responsibilities. I rather take time from my sleep, I would say. I mean, right now I'm really not that much on a regular training on a regular basis. I used to do in 2019 and 20, just before the Corona times, I was doing a lot of cycling. That is when I completed my 2 times of randonneuring, and there was another tough ride, the Holly Hill ride. Those were the days I used to train a lot. Even then, most of the time were taken from my sleep. I will ensure that I adjust everything in line, and females are better managers of time. I personally feel that, if you're able to put everything in place and segregate your works accordingly, I don't think it's not possible by any person, irrespective of whether you're a female or a male.
Okay, thank you very much, because this will inspire a lot of ladies in the group also to start seriously thinking that they can do things.
To add on to that, I work as a professor in a private institute as a full-time academician, and I have my clinic also. And I'm a solo practitioner. My husband is a non-dentist. So I manage my clinic since 17 years. I've been managing my own clinic. And I have a good, decent enough practice. So my day is fully packed in a sense. And I homeschooled my son till his 6 years of age. Right now he's 12. I homeschooled my son till 6 years of age because I wanted him to have a different kind of exposure to languages and math in the beginning of his career. So I managed a lot of things at that time. I would still say that time management is the key.
Okay, madam.
The gender.
And I want to ask you one more question, because when you do this randonneuring events, people ride in the night times, because people feel when you ride in the night, it is more comfortable. You can cover more distance. The weather is more easier on you. So how do you manage such night rides, and what are the security issues? Have you faced anything when you do this long distance cycling?
We always ride in groups, sir, actually. So there is definitely, in this particular thing, I definitely want to say that male riders are our strength. So they take care of us, especially one of my very good friend and coach, Mr. Anil Sharma, is the person who accompanies me to all the rides. So I don't think without an accompanying male rider or a group of female riders, female riding alone entirely through the night, I don't think it would have been possible, and I don't think it is. It would have been like a stupidity to take that kind of a brave thing, because we are exposed to so much of circumstances, especially this BRM rides. Whether they have a lot of village routes covered, and we have to follow only their routes, and we have to take photographs at the control points, and we have to send them. So we have to follow routes which are dictated by the organizer. And those routes, I suppose, Dr. Ashish was speaking on the BRM, right? So he must be knowing. So, they choose routes which are actually a little tougher. More interior routes sometimes are chosen, depends upon the organizer, whether it's going to be a part of a Madras Dandelion or the region based. So it is definitely not safer. That thing I would definitely want to say. Without any accompanying strong male rider or as a group, it is a little risky. I wouldn't accredit all the achievements only to myself. So the co-riders mean a lot.
Yeah, you had a fantastic mentor. I know personally, Mr. Anil Sharma. He has been a mentor for so many people in Chennai. Thank you very much, madam. Now we have been discussing more of regular exercising. Then we went into endurance cycling. Now I'll introduce our next panelist from Faridabad, the young pathologist, Dr. Gaurav Khanna. He takes a completely different route. He does racing. Dr. Gaurav, can you just come and tell why you took up racing and what do you do now and what are your achievements? I know that you participate in a lot of national and international events. Can you just tell your experiences, Dr. Gaurav?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thanks for making me part of this nice event. And these events are actually very rare. And in fact, this is one of the first event I am participating in. Somebody kind of sharing our experience of cycling. So actually, cycling was my childhood dream, which I could not take up because of all those financial issues and all orthodox kind of thoughts that academics is the only way to go. And if in fact I think it is still true, cycling as a profession in India is not equivalent to any good other profession like academic profession. So I did have that childhood dream. So after finishing my MBBS, MD, and then having a job, then I took up cycling and to fulfill my childhood dream, and I kept on upgrading when I felt that I deserve this kind of upgrade. I need a upgrade of bike. When I realized that I enjoyed the speed and the thrill of that speed, which comes not only from the strength or stamina from inside. It needs a lot of mental toughness as well. So I realized that it's not just physical strength or stamina. You need to be mentally very strong to leap over those mental barriers of mental toughness, which later on I realized that it needs professional training as well. For 4 times I participated in state level cycling championship to be selected to get selected for national level cycling championship, and every time I was rejected and was quite dejected why I'm not able to come over it. Then I took up professional coaching. Then I realized the importance that how structured training is important, how you have to be stay focused, heart rate based training, then power based training. There are so many things into it, and it's actually a different kind of science, which we don't see when we get into it, into the depth of it. And this kind of professional training not only gives you physical strength or stamina, it gives you mental toughness, it gives you ideas about your nutrition, and automatically your lifestyle changes from casual attitude towards your lifestyle to a disciplined lifestyle. You start sleeping on time, you start becoming conscious what you are eating. Do I really need to have it? Like each and every intake of yours becomes conscious, and everything becomes gets changed. Your physiological limits gets changed, and as Dr. Ashish already said, that when you get into it, you realize the physiological limits of human body are really unimaginable. You can extend to any limit which you want, and uh, so I learned a lot, and I really started feeling like the energy I used to feel at the age of 20. So at the age of 36 I started feeling like I'm 20 years old. So I used to climb up 4 floors without having any breathlessness. So it was entire total change in my physiology. My BP started ranging from around 110 to systolic 110 to diastolic varying from 60. My resting heart rate came down to 38 to 40 beats per minute, and I was surprised to see my physiological limits. And then it continued, and it is still continuing. Yes, to correct you, I didn't participate at any international level. Yes, I do participate at national level, and I keep on playing with the state cycling championship. But it is difficult to crack and compete against those 20 years guys. But I still try to keep on struggling, and it keeps me going. The ultimate goal is fitness only, so that is the basic goal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Gaurav. So now we listen to all aspects of cycling from being a regular exercising to more of endurance and more into racing. And we have seen all the limits of cycling. But when I tell that I cycle, the first thing my friends in medical college, they tell, the roads are not safe. Why do you want to do all these things? It is absolutely not safe. Yes, safety is an issue, and many of us ride early mornings. So let me start with Dr. Naveen. What are the safety steps you take, or what? Because you tell that you get up every day morning at 4 o'clock and ride and finish your ride by 6 o'clock in the morning. That means you are riding in the dark. And what are the safety steps you take, Naveen? Can you just tell us a little bit more on that?
Yes, sir. I wear a lot of bright clothing. Okay, that's number one. And number two, I'm lit up like a Christmas tree every time I
Okay.
head out. Me and the cycle and my helmet and everything. And of course, safety wise, I think it's very important to let someone know that you are heading out as well. So, yeah, of course, a lot of us have these cycle computers. I have the Garmin, and it does give you a location tracker as well. And in addition to that, I send off a live location to my wife prior to leaving every morning. So this is something that I'm very paranoid about. In spite of all that, I've had two quite bad accidents. One was an elbow fracture left side, and the other one was I was hit from behind by a speeding car. So I had quite a bad injury on my sacrum and my coccyx. Thankfully, touch wood, nothing really untoward after that. But these things do happen, and this is something that I've realized over a period of time. Safety in numbers is a very, very important thing. Um, I don't see many people having accidents when they are in groups. It tends to be people who are lone riders, like how I used to be, who have the incidents rather than the people who ride in groups. So that's something that I feel very strongly about now. So whenever I head out, I make sure there's at least 3 or 4 people along with me. The fear factor has settled in a little bit for me, because then, at some point you have to consider the rest of the family is actually there, and you need to be taking everybody into consideration. Are you actually doing something very unsafe by going off on your own? So all these things do play a role in finally making the decision to, being part of a group rather than a lone ranger like what I used to. I used to enjoy going solo, and but park my cycle somewhere, take a few photos. I'm an avid photographer as well, so definitely all those things have gone out. The only problem, as Amal sir was saying, is people tend to talk a lot in group rides, so that is not something for everyone. And again, unplanned breaks are a good thing. That's definitely there. Where, I mean, you might have a puncture or some mechanical problem, but the planned breaks can also become too long. These coffee breaks sometimes in the groups go on for way too long. So that is also something that I see. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Naveen, for touching on all the safety aspects. And I will come to Dr. Amal, sir. Sir, you have been an advisor to the state government. You are part of the State Planning Commission. And I have attended a meeting of the Tamil Nadu Cycling Association a couple of days back, where they are planning for a lot of, the ride pathway, a separate pathway for cycling. So, do you have any role to play in that, or are you part of those subcommittees which look into that? I want to just check with you. Like, is there anything you would like to advise the government on keeping the cycling safe in the city or anywhere in the country?
Definitely. Anything that goes to save an individual life, and more importantly, a cyclist's life, is precious to the government. And if you really have some actionable proposals, I can get them across to the powers that matter. This much I can certainly do. So please let me know if you have any actionable proposals. I will definitely take them up with the.
Definitely, sir. Because when we do cycling in the city, the most important safety aspect is people ride on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Most of the mortalities I've seen in cycling were usually accidents caused by wrong side driving. And every government, every court tells helmet is compulsory. See, if I don't wear a helmet, I get injured. It is my personal problem.
Exactly.
But if I come on the wrong side of the road and hit somebody, it's a public problem.
Exactly.
So I think I would request you to push this factor to the police and the people in power. At least stop the wrong side driving, because you go to any major junction, any major flyovers in the city, you'll see people riding always on the wrong side. And we are all astonished to see the policemen don't even look at it. So I think, sir, I think it's a general request from all of us, because you can take this point across. Because wearing helmet, it's okay, fine, it's my problem. If I don't wear a helmet, it's my own problem. But if I ride on the wrong side, I am a public nuisance. So I think nobody talks about this public nuisance. Previously, it was only some two-wheelers. Now it is cars. Sometimes we see even the buses riding on the wrong side, big lorries riding on the wrong side. It's creating a big havoc. I don't know how it is in other cities of the country. In Chennai, it has gone from bad to worse.
Dr. Murli, a friend of
Yes,
mine
sir.
is an orthopedic surgeon in a big medical college hospital on the highways.
Okay, sir.
So he was telling me that he does at least 1 or 2 amputations every day almost. And all of them invariably come on the wrong side of the road. It's a Madras-Bangalore highway. So they get
Yes,
very seriously hit, and most of them are between the age of 20 to 30. Now the next question is, and he was asking me, why is it that the people come on the wrong side of the road? They are all reasonably educated. They know the price of coming on the wrong side of the road can be quite heavy. And yet, why do every day people come like that? So I even talked to a psychiatrist about that. That probably in India, I think we have an inherent mindset that we can get away with anything. Largely believe on things like luck, but we don't calculate the actual risks in whatever we do. So most of the things we take for granted, or we do it at random or blindly. So this is one like that. The psychiatrist was telling me. Anyway, to come back to this, we even map the areas where maximum mortalities take place. You know, Tamil Nadu has the highest number of road traffic accidents and the highest mortality. So there were certain curves in the highways near Krishnagiri, etc., near Salem. So with the help of highway department, we straightened those things, and then we found out that the mortality is reduced. But if you have, to come back to this, if you have any actionable proposals, especially with involves the lives of cyclists, etc., we can definitely take it forward. I can't promise you any result, but I can definitely.
No, I know that we have to keep on pushing for better things to happen. I definitely agree with your this thing, and we are happy that we know that our things can reach the people in the power also. Thank you very much, sir. Now, is there any other panelists they want to add up anything on all what we discussed still now?
See, the one thing which was about safety. So most important, we also have realized we have lost many seasoned cyclists here in Delhi because of the road accidents. And you are actually disheartened after seeing them, because usually they are not at fault. So we have always decided that we place the ride. So we actually make group rides according to the cyclist, whether he's a fast rider, whether he's a medium pacer. So there are rides category A ride, B ride, C ride. So those are put into the WhatsApp, and then there is a meeting point, and the ride will not take place if there are not minimum of 3 cyclists. So that is important, that you always follow a peloton and let your basically the other thing is that your location and everything is there. So if there are 3 people, then if something happens, that it can be taken care of. We also made an SOS group in basically in Delhi, where if a cyclist has had an accident or something like that, if he puts any message in that group, so there are no good morning, nothing bullshit messages, only an SOS message, which is basically causing if there is a serious harm or there is something mishap has happened, and then that message is circulated in the cyclists nearby. There are many who are doctors, there are many who may be owning a hospital, and then we have seen that with that, the help is available when it is needed, because that initial few minutes or hours are very important. So most important would be to save. Second would be the way he said that you light up like a Christmas tree. Third, which I want, is that for the cycling tracks, the problem is that usually there is lot of hoardings, and even if a cycling track is made, people, they actually do the kabza, like we say that there will be a khoka which will be in between. So that needs to be, if the government can take. Other thing is that the cycling track or the walkway track should be continuous. So usually what happens is that even in, like, I am living in South Delhi, we do not have a footpath where I can walk without interruption or moving to the road. So basically, if a cycling track is created, it should be connected uh, with the overhead bridges, so that you can pass easily, surpassing the traffic. So like the one which is done in the other countries. So that way, if the planning is done, then it will be fruitful. Otherwise, usually the government funds are wasted. So that is something which can be done maybe in one city, and then the other can follow them.
Yeah,
Dr.
this is one
Murali,
thing.
Dr. Murali, if I can interrupt, we haven't
Yeah,
heard
please.
your story of how you got into cycling, and at
Okay.
what age and what is the progress, and we would be
Okay.
interested.
See, I got into cycling the day I was diagnosed with diabetes. It is a family disease for me. Both my parents are diabetics. So that's the time you start looking at doing some exercise. Like Dr. Amal said, my son's cycle was at home. So I also did not like walking or running. So I started taking up cycling for 45 minutes to 1 hour. Then what happened was on Sundays, used to go for a little longer time for half an hour or 1 hour. Then comes your friends. I had a guy from one of these medical representative companies who was selling ultrasound machines. In fact, he also sold the mammography machine to a unit also, but he only got me into cycling. He saw me doing the cycling. He told, "Sir, I think you should not be cycling with this. We should go to a cycle shop and get a better cycle." And he made me to buy the hybrid cycle, and I started riding with them. So the good thing I found out was none of them in the group were doctors. Most of them were either some computer professionals or working somewhere, working for marketing. So the discussions were completely different. See, when you meet a doctor, what do you discuss? You always tell about how is the practice, how is it going on, what is the medical legal issue. So here you have a group where you don't discuss anything about your profession, something completely different. And the next important thing, what happens is these guys think you are doctors, we know everything about fitness. Then they start asking you doubts about whether magnesium will be helpful for building a body, what is the role for zinc. Then you start wondering, yeah, I never knew all these things. Then you start looking up the books, start reading about it, or talk to some nutritionists and try to get in. So it became a sort of a retro learning also into my cycling, and started riding with this group. So these guys pushed me to do the first 100 kilometers. Then they joined me, did the first 200 kilometers. Couple of years I was doing only 200 kilometers. Then started doing this SR. In 2 years between 2020-21, I did 3 SRs, and then I qualified for the PBP. Then I wanted to do a long ride of 1,000 kilometers. So what happened at the 900 kilometer? Suddenly I couldn't ride, and my neck started falling down. I couldn't lift my neck at all. Suddenly, my extensors in the neck were not acting. I thought something is wrong, and I stopped cycling. And I quit that event at 900 kilometers. I didn't know what it was. I thought some serious problem to the neck. Then I realized there is a condition called a Schirmer's neck. This I realized after talking with one of the ace cyclists of India, who is a doctor, Dr. Amit Samarth. He only told me about Schirmer's. This you should develop after 2000 kilometers. Why you developed after 900? For his fitness, maybe after 2000. For our fitness, it was definitely less. So then you have to read about these conditions. Then subsequently, I finished 1,000 kilometers. Then I went for PBP, and PBP at the 900th kilometer, again, I got the same condition, and I stopped there. So this is how it goes on. But the good thing which has happened to me is I got a huge number of friends more than 70 or 80 people, from various walks of life. They can be chartered accountants, they can be lawyers. Many of them are in IT professionals. Some of them are into marketing, some of them are selling, and hardly a very few doctors. So when Dr. Vidya told, you have to hold a group of cyclists. So I started searching for doctors who are into cycling. I know from Chennai, I know a lot of people. And I know Ashish because I met him through a Facebook group. And then I met him in Paris when he did the same PBP, we were there. And that's how you progress along. So it's very, very happy to see that at least 40 to 50 people are attending this. And we know that cycling can be an excellent hobby. And it definitely keeps you healthy. It keeps you disciplined, and as somebody said, it helps your nutrition. It helps so many things. And today I sleep at 9:45 or 10, wake up at 4:45 every day, except the days when you go for real long rides, you wake up at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, it has become a very, very organized life. Yes, sir. That's all.
Yeah, I also am interested in what cycle each of you own and why. Because, from Amal cycle to say Gaurav Khanna cycle, there should be some difference. What is how to, upgrade yourself? Each of you, can give an account.
Yes, sir. See, when somebody wants to cycle, best thing is to start with the cycle what they have at home, because you're going to do an exercise after a long time. So start with that. And the next thing you have to go is to go for a hybrid cycle. A hybrid cycle is the cycle whose tires are like your regular cycle, but at the same time, it has got some dynamics, where you can ride much better. You learn how to operate the gears in a cycle. You have a crank in the front, which is a bigger crank, smaller crank. You have a lot of gears on the backside. So people migrate into hybrid cycle. Then comes the endurance. So as Ashish was telling, from a hybrid, you go to a roadie. A roadie means you see the cycles with very, very thin tires. That means they're all 25 tires or 28 tires nowadays. So these are all very thin. So what happens is the cycle weight also gets reduced. Initially, you start with the stainless steel, then there are aluminum cycles. The best ones are the carbons, which are very, very light. We have the titanium cycles. So as you keep on making it lighter, the cost is going to go really up. Well, we'll discuss about the cost part a little later. And the next thing is what Dr. Gaurav told. You want to really ride very fast. You need an aero cycle. And it is built specifically for this racing, and where you have really large cranks up front. And as they pedal, they really go very, very fast, and they know which gear they should ride, where a lot of physics and lot of things are involved. So this is how the cycling goes on. So now I think the cost, I think I'll come to each one and how they will all answer this question. Yes, Naveen, you can start off first.
Let's get it's very, very into the open. If you're going to be what is known as a hardcore cyclist, it can be a very expensive hobby. Okay, so Patta sir, it's not only about the cycle. At some point, you need to invest in good apparel as well for your comfortable cycling. I'm not even talking about very high-end stuff. Basic cycling bibs is what we call it. These are the shorts that we wear, have those paddings. All these are, they're not really cheap once you start looking at the quality of stuff. So that is something that you also. And I would say, although Murli sir has said a lot about the cycling groups, the cycling groups can be a very heavy peer pressure group as well, uh, where you start looking at what cycle each person has got. And sometimes you might fall prey to picking up something that is actually might not be the correct cycle for you. Now, I do ride a carbon cycle, right? But my go-to cycle is a gravel bike, which is very much like a roadie bike, but it has thicker tires. And I feel in certain conditions, especially in Chennai, heading towards November, December, it's a much safer cycle to be on rather than your standard roadie. And both are around the 1.5 to 2 lakh range. And as I said, it can be little expensive. Thing is to avoid, looking at other people's cycles and start looking enviously at them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ashish, can you just add up what cycles you use? And I know you ride a Pinarello, so I know that.
So basically, the Pinarello story is something, it happened during Diwali. So my driver said to me that, Doc Sahab, you should change your car and now it is getting old. So you should buy a good car. So I was sitting behind. I was thinking that if I buy a high-end luxury car, this driver is the one who's going to enjoy it. And I am a cyclist, so what I am going to do? So the thought came to me that I should buy something good for myself. And at that time, I was having a roadie, which was an aluminum bike, and we did a 600 in that. And many people said that you should buy a carbon bike since you are doing long distances. So so it was, it was a overdue for me. So I said that what is the best carbon bike? I'll buy it. So we got the Pinarello Dogma from uh, basically London, and the bike costs a lot. Uh, I was actually looking at an endurance cycle, but my friend actually he misguided me and said that no, you should buy this is an endurance cycle. And then so I did a 1000 in that. It wasn't a strain to me, but then I realized that it was not an endurance geometry. So actually, before the Paris event, just 2 months before that, I had to buy another endurance carbon bike. So I got a Scott. So basically now there are four bikes. The fourth one which I bought is basically a tri bike for my Ironman. So basically, after doing the half, this time I'm going for a full in 1st June, Hamburg. So it's a flat course. So you need so in a tri bike, it saves your legs for your running part. So that's the reason. But then actually, what I found is that if you are happy about it, it is a very good investment for your health because a big car, an SUV, a Mercedes, a BMW will be enjoyed by your driver, not by you. If you are not a car fanatic, so better invest in a good cycle and pays dividends for you in the long run.
Definitely, if you have a good hobby, definitely it saves a lot of statins and antiplatelets later in life. I think you will save a lot of money and stay healthy also.
Yeah, so there was a quotation on one of the bike shops that if you feel that the bike is expensive, then try disease.
Very good. Very true.
Yeah.
Dr. Gaurav, I think since you do the racing, I think you should be having one of the most expensive ones. And can you just go a little bit on those cycles?
Yes, not really a very expensive one. Yes, I always upgraded when I felt that I deserve it. So I started with the basic cycle without having any gear, and then I upgraded to straight away that I when I realized that I am interested in racing, I went for a roadie. But then I realized that roadies are also of different types. It's endurance geometry. Then they are lightweight climbers, and then there is race geometry. Then first I got Scott Speedster 30, which cost me around 60,000 at that time in 2016. But then I realized when I won few races on that bike. Then later on I realized that to participate in national I need to upgrade. Then I went for Giant Propel Advanced. It is a full carbon frame cycle, and then later on I realized that the stock wheels are not going to help me much, so I switched on to carbon wheels, but I keep them for competitions only. I practice on my stock wheels, which are aluminum based, so it makes the bike little heavy, but for races I switch on to my carbon wheels. I keep them safe for only competitions. So that cost, if I include each and everything, all those gears like Wahoo bike computer and everything, the cost of bike comes around maybe around three something, 3 lakhs. But
Okay.
I always upgraded whenever I feel that I deserve it. I never upgraded similar. Just if I can have it, then I should have it. I always upgraded when I felt that I deserve the upgrade.
Yeah. Coming to the part of the disease we were talking about, see, I ride with a group of friends. One of these guys at 35 years had a major heart attack, and he had a primary PTC and stenting, and he was in the ICU for almost a month. Then he recovered. He was basically a gym guy before that, eating a lot of things and developed this. And subsequently, he took up cycling. today is fit, and he has done the SR at least 10 times, at least I know of. So that means year after year he does it, and he also did the Paris. Though he didn't complete it, he went up quite a lot of kilometers. Another friend of mine who does cycling is a post-renal transplant guy. He had a first transplant which failed. He had a second transplant. His exercise is cycling. They're on a lot of immunosuppressive drugs. They put on weight and they get into trouble. So he took up cycling as a thing. And now he knows he was one of the guys who rode with me when I did the first 200. He has done a 300 and a 400 also. So, and another boy whom I know, he has had a couple of corneal transplants. And 2 times he got it done, it got rejected. And now he has had the third transplant, and he is still doing cycling actively. So Naveen knows him also. The way he's nodding his head, I know that. So you get to see guys who are inspirational, and people with so much of personal setbacks in health. They all have taken up fitness as an activity. And we as doctors, we advise others, but we don't practice it. Dr. Uma, you want to add up something on this now?
Yes, sir. I think people will be shocked if I say this. I myself am a patient of polycystic kidneys and liver, autosomal dominant, and right now I'm a hypertensive as well. I mean, from 2 times a day, I've just reduced to 1 time a day. Probably, I definitely don't correlate my disease pattern and my cycling hobby. I just I just do what I like. So probably that is adding to my health. I definitely don't know whether cycling is contributing to reducing my hypertension, as Gaurav sir was mentioning. I don't see the cycling activity in that perspective. In those times, and even now when I take my cycle out, I feel like I'm so independent. That particular time is going to be mine, and I can, more time you get to think. Probably some of the person is talking about when you're just riding solo, you get a lot of, especially during endurance rides, you get a lot of time to work on yourself. Rather, I wouldn't attribute endurance cycling to physical strength at all. Because I am physically much weaker than any of you here, probably the non-cyclists as well. I rather attribute cycling to endurance cycling, especially to mental strength. So you keep on riding, and you feel a little bit of struggle in your body. Even despite that, you continue to ride. So that is more related to your mental strength, and I feel that I get more time to work on myself, probably my problems, probably my future. So I feel it's like it's a personal time for me. So I see it in that perspective. So I don't get my disease into this aspect. Of course, I have, and probably since you were asking about people who are having some particular health issues and traveling. So even when I was under regular treatment, my physician told me not even to walk, fast walk. Please avoid walking faster. I said no, I would like to run. Now I do running also, but not to that extent. I have just done a couple of 10Ks and a half marathon. I don't know, many of you are doctors here, maybe it's a contradiction that I'm saying, but when you do something that pleases your mind, I don't think that is attributing, augmenting your disease, rather it reduces it.
And Murli, if I can again come in here. Now,
Yes,
see, what are the sort of ailments which are a contraindication? Cervical spondylosis or low backache or hemorrhoids? Because people have been riding for long. Have you faced, what are the common problems you face? And which are the people who shouldn't ride?
So I think the most important thing is if you're going to start at a little bit beyond 40s or 50s, better to check your heart once and then see your stress test is absolutely negative, you're fine. That is number one. Number two is hypertension is something which we have to monitor regularly. basically in any endurance events, when your BP shoots up the roof or something like that, it can create trouble. So blood pressure monitoring is something which you have to monitor. In case you have some hypertension, please be on required medications. But over a period of time, when you do any physical activity, your blood pressure comes down, the control is much, much better. Now, coming to the third problem about back pain or neck pain. See, everything is related to your position on the cycle. Something called as, how to fit yourselves into your bike. So when you buy a bike, when you go to a cycle shop, they see your height, they see your weight, they see your arm span, and then they will select a cycle which will suit your height and your arm span. So once you start doing that, then your seat height also, what is the height which is required for you, and how much you should bend and ride. If you do all those things, take it from me, you will never develop any back pain or any neck pain. If your cycle fit is wrong, you can definitely develop all these problems. I know some people telling me they started cycling. I know a couple of people, my wife's classmates, he started cycling and he developed severe back pain. It was basically a problem of the position on the cycle. So I think once you start cycling, you yourself will know it. And there are guys who do this fitting things for us. The cycle shop fellows also have professionals. And there is, I know one professional in Chennai. Every one of us go to him. He's a guy who works in the IT industry, but he does this as a hobby. And his waiting list is very long. If I ask for an appointment today, he'll give an appointment after 4 months only. So he's so busy. So you have to fit your cycle. You have to fit your body to the cycle. If you do all those things, definitely the injuries are negligibly low. Yeah.
The other is for patients, like if you have a prostate gland infection like prostatitis, then you should avoid cycling. We have seen patients may have, after a prolonged cycle, they may have numbness. The other thing is to invest in a very good bib short. So bib shorts are also according to the number of kilometers which you are riding. So depending upon if you are a beginner or an advanced rider, there are bib shorts. The third is the bike fit. The bike fit also needs to be changed. So as you mature, as you become fitter, your bike fit may change every 6 months to a year. So that also needs to be seen. And as Murli said that a bike fit is most important and to be done through a professional so that you avoid injury in the long run. In the initial time, your body may basically accommodate everything, but then to go for a very longer time, to have this hobby for years together, if you start right, then you are going to be there for the long haul.
Now, actually, none of you look very much athletic, barring, Naveen is smiling there. Don't you require some sort of a muscle tone or a certain body structure to ride, or anybody can ride?
No, see, anybody can ride, but if you want to sustain riding over long distance, you need to do some strengthening exercises. So for my cycling routine is I cycle for 3 days in a week. At least another 2 days or 3 days, I do physical training in a gym where you have to go through an organized pattern of training for your core muscles, your shoulders, your back muscles, your quadriceps, hamstrings. You need to train them because as you ride longer, these muscles will have to hold up. They should not create any cramps. And it's very, very important. You have to be physically fit also. We may not look fit, but I think we are all strong. I can tell that.
The fitness in India is correlated to muscles, the bodybuilders in the gym, or to six-pack app. The fitness is actually your VO2 max, your HRV. So if you look at my VO2 max, it is in the top 10%. So basically, your longevity will depend. So there are a lot of things on longevity. So why we are doing it for longevity and for our health. So your longevity depends upon your VO2 max on your HRV. So the concept which Indians have in their mind is that somebody who has a six-pack ab or muscles which are very hard to hit. So people will grab your hand and will see that how hard this muscle is. That muscle is not a fit muscle. The muscle which can contract and relax for a very long time repeatedly is a better muscle. If you look at the Tour de France riders, their muscle are supple. So basically, yes, you get into the shape also because we don't change because as an endurance cycle, we took a lot of carbs to do the endurance events. But yes, eventually the benefits are there, and you should feel fit rather than look fit.
Now, you see, you people ride 1,000 kilometers, 200, 300 kilometers. What do you eat or what do you drink in between? And, how do you maintain a GI tract and hydration and stuff? Because 1,000 kilometers riding bicycle, I can't imagine.
So basically, we have to carry, so nutrition is a very important thing when you are doing any endurance event, because your body stores are going to take you for just 2 hours. Beyond that, there is nothing in the body to take you forward. So you maintain an hydration. So my in form of, so there are, the cycles have the bottle cages, the bottles are there. The tri bikes have nutrition system inbuilt. You carry on gels, you carry on, in between you take breaks where you refill your water, you look into the salt, you look into your basically. So I usually do a lot of training with the gels when I am training for an event. So whatever you are doing in that event, you have to basically do it in your training also. So the gels have to be taken, so that you have to be on a liquid nutrition when you are training for an event. Otherwise, complex carbohydrates like bananas, like rice. So even you can have bakery products. So these are all. So that's the good thing you can do. That if you want to have ice creams, you can take it when you are going for these rides. If you want to have sweet, you can take it, because that can be digested by the body when you are exercising on that particular day. So these are the collateral gains. You will find many cyclists in the coffee shop because of that. So that thing can be taken care of.
Yeah,
Would
I
your
concur with
diet has
Ashish.
changed? Is it anyway changed after you become a cyclist?
Sir, I didn't get your question.
Has
Yeah.
your diet changed anyway after you become a cyclist?
Yes.
Yeah,
So basically, the diet, basically there is a lot of notion nowadays that carbohydrates are bad for you. And if you look into the nutritional part of it, carbs are the one which are actually required. So for any endurance events, we require a lot of carbs. So carbs, more proteins, less of fat, uh, more balanced diet is something which we are looking at.
Yes, I concur with many views what Ashish said. And once I remember having finished a 400-kilometer ride, supposed to finish at morning 8 o'clock, but I could finish at early morning 3 o'clock. We have to come back to this Velachery to the shop. As I was coming back, I saw an ice cream guy, selling this ice cream. I stopped there and took 2 ice creams and finished it off. Because you'll feel hunger, and that is the time you don't even repent for eating such a high amount of sugar or carbohydrates. Definitely, it gives you a lot of happiness of eating ice creams at early morning, 3 o'clock after a long ride. Well, managing nutrition is an art and science. In endurance events, you have to be careful, but most of us take a lot of carbohydrates in general when we do these long rides, because that only gives you the best form of energy. When you want an instant energy, I found bananas giving you very fast. You just take 2 bananas, you will rush next 50 kilometers without any problems. So gels are something which some people practice. Some people practice with energy bars. But the most important thing is the hydration. You have to replenish your electrolytes. We have a lot of things available, or the simple electrol is more than enough. In one bottle, you have electrol, another bottle, you have plain water. You have to keep on filling up them. You have to drink your water before you feel thirsty, and you have to eat your food before you feel hungry. These are the common things which we talk and we most of us practice when we do endurance events. Definitely nutrition changes. Nutrition changes during your periods when you don't do these longer events. At the time, you become concentrated more on protein in your diet and little bit less carbs. But the most important thing is you have to have a balanced diet.
Yeah,
Murali, I
Naveen,
just have a question.
yeah, Amal.
No. Do you think that animal proteins are needed for this endurance tests and long distance riding?
Sir, I'm a vegetarian, sir.
I know
don't
that.
use it.
That's why I'm asking you. Oh, it's not really required.
Not really
Naveen,
required, sir.
maybe you be able. Naveen is a foodie, I presume.
Yes. No, sir.
You are
I have the unfortunate situation of having a wife who makes wonderful desserts, so that is an issue.
Now, what is your
Yes, sir.
take on food and cycling?
Uh, this is my own personal thing, sir. The days when I have a nice solid sandwich with or without meat or whatever at night, the next morning, the energy levels are just crazy. I don't know, for some reason, the bread, I don't know, maybe it's the carbs that work more than the proteins. And the one odd occasion where I decide to go for a really long ride, definitely these roadside, what we call potikares here in Chennai and around, they have these little banana buns which work very well. They soak them in honey and keep. And it's got banana with the bread, with the honey, and those work really, really well. I mean, it gives you a bit of a sugar rush, but helps you with the energy source as well. But as I said, it's a lot of people who start off on anything more than 75 kilometers don't realize how much actually water and the salt really, really helps. I mean, as Murli sir was saying, it is better to replenish earlier rather than wait for you to have the effects of that dehydration settling in.
The Gaurav, your diet is any different from the others because you're a speed cyclist?
My training,
Your diet.
the week, and because my training is maximum for 2 hours per week, per day, and near close to my races I go up to around 6 hours. So most of the time I don't need so many energy gels, and I prefer having a pre-ride meal, which is usually an oatmeal soaked a night before, and I used to have a coffee before my ride, and then having two bottles, around 2 liters of water I consume in a 2 hour ride, and two bananas. So that is how I maintain my nutrition during the ride. Yes, pre-ride meal, nutrition during the ride, and again post ride meal to replenish your sources, to replenish the carbohydrates which you have burnt. So all these three things are very important: pre-ride hydration, pre-ride because you are overnight fasting, you are riding in the morning, you are overnight, your blood sugars are already low, so you have to replenish your carbohydrate level, your sugar level in the blood to little, so that you can start with a good energy levels. So you need to have a pre-ride meal as well, and then during the ride, and then again to replenish the sources after the ride. So that is how I plan my nutrition. Yes, energy gels are, I use them during my races.
Well, and one last question, Dr. Murli, if all of you can answer.
Yeah.
How did cycling change you as a person, as a clinician, and as it changed you for better? How? In what ways?
Yeah, for me, I can tell you when you do these long interventions previously, when you do these long interventions, especially complex neuro, the complex aorta, I used to feel dead after the procedure. Number one, you are standing in radiation, you wear the lead aprons, and you do this procedure with a lot of finesse, and you feel really very tired. Nowadays, I don't have it at all. The moment I finish the case, I'm ready, fresh for the next case also to be done, if possible. So your physical fitness at your work is excellent. And second thing is, even if you are called up suddenly in the middle of the night, you go and do the case and come back next day morning, you're fit. You don't feel the tiredness. I can attribute everything to my cycling fitness. And the third thing is the discipline. Your inherent discipline improves quite a lot, and you are more committed. And I don't know, the your ability to understand things is much better. Previously, when I coil a brain aneurysm, when the first coil is on, my heart rate would have gone up 3 times more. But nowadays, I don't feel at all. It is just like another routine stuff. My friends, when I tell them this, they tell you have become experienced. That's why you don't feel it. Maybe that's also a part. But I feel that this physical fitness definitely helps in your career to perform much better. My tiredness levels, everything has gone down significantly after I started cycling as a routine. Yeah.
Naveen.
So I don't think it's a cycling specific thing. Any activity early in the morning, physical. There are days that I go to the gym quite frequently at 4:30 in the morning, work out for 1.5 hours. The days that I don't go, I'm definitely a little more moody, a little more snappy at my postgraduates. I feel that the adrenaline surge that you get in the morning keeps you going through the day. Cycling is one way that we can see it, and cycling is a little more calming. I'm not a runner, so I wouldn't know about it. But compared to other kinds of physical activity, including tennis or basketball, which I play as well, the most calming of the lot is cycling. So that's definitely, as I was saying earlier, there is a self meditation that goes on when you are on the bike.
Ashish.
Dr. Ashish, you want to?
Was a cyclist. Then in a year back, I started running. And running is a different game because there are different set of muscles which are being used. And there was a question that whether the cycling is going to help a runner. So I'll answer that also. So basically, if you are a cyclist, your heart rate is basically maintained for a long time. So you increase the capacity of your engine. And therefore, it helps running, where you can maintain a better heart rate. And after running, I started on swimming. So basically became a triathlon guy. And I feel that when these three things are combined, that's the best you can do to your body. So by running and then by cycling and then you recover by swimming. So these three things make the best way of handling the way you want to for the
I think
best.
that's very true, Ashish sir, because most triathletes start off as cyclists rather than any other sport. They're not swimmers who train to become triathletes, or they're not runners. It's primarily the cyclists who go on to do the other things.
And there is
That's
a
right.
history to it. So basically,
Yes.
when there was a first triathlon which happened in Kona, Hawaii, so they actually did a study on who is the fittest person to do the Ironman, and 70% of the entire sports person on that they found that it was a cyclist who was the most fittest person to do an Ironman event. So the rest is history.
Amal?
Can I add a few things to it?
Yeah. Yeah, Gaurav.
Yes, sir. When I came back after finishing my MD from Amritsar, I came back to Delhi NCR region. So I was exposed to so much of pollution, and I started getting asthma attacks during winters. So, I used to fall sick very frequently during winters. Every change of season, I used to fall. I used to have allergic rhinitis and all those things, and I used to have antibiotics, anti-allergics, and so many things. But with onset of this cycling, getting into professional cycling, all these asthma got settled down. My all this allergic rhinitis, frequency of falling sick, that all has reduced to minimal. I hardly take any antibiotic, any anti-allergics. I have completely recovered from asthma. Probably because of cycling, and also I included yoga into it. After ride, I do around 30 minutes of yoga for stretching. And one more interesting fact, I used to have very frequent wasp so with time my body's antibodies neutralizing those toxins. So and in fact my healing power also improved. I got a crash in nationals also, so everything was quite bruised. I got some bruises at my back, and they healed within few days. If I compare it with some a layman who is not into that kind of physical fitness, so it improves overall your health, and improves your disease fighting capacity. Everything is it your physiology improves. So that is my experience of getting over these diseases in a short period of last 6 years.
Dr. Uma, if you can come in to comment on your diet and also, what difference did it make to you?
Before I answer that question, sir, I was thinking that I am just going to enter a group wherein the very basics of cycling will be discussed, but looks like at most professional discussion is going on, because most of the people, apart from me, it looks like they are perfect professionals and they are talking about micronutrients, micromanagement and everything. But the listeners, I suppose, in this group are people who are not even exposed to basic level of walking, maybe even to that extent. So to those people, I would say I really don't want to scare them by this is going to require that, that is going to require that, because I don't do that. I keep it very simple. We are vegetarians at home, so I'm allergic to egg and chicken, so that is also ruled out. I take very simple food, whatever is prepared at home. So I really don't concentrate or rather put any extra effort to take proteins or carbohydrates or whatever it is. I don't see, dissect the food if I need to. If it is there on the plate, I like it, I eat it. So I don't really have much to answer with specific to nutrition part. But one thing I would say that it keeps me energetic throughout the day. If I don't work out on a day, I don't go to gym. Either I work out at home, very simple self-weight based training exercises, or I go to run, and 2 times a week I cycle. So when I feel my day becomes complete, mental thing is that when I wake up in the morning and I finish off this routine, I feel that I have started my day on a good note. So that is one mental thing. And the other thing is, as everybody has said, that definitely adds to your energy level. It keeps me active till 10 o'clock or even more than that. So that part is definitely true when it comes to any form of physical exercise, be it even a simple walking. So I really don't want to scare the people like only if you do cycling or only if you do long distance riding or if you get this kind of a bike or that is going to benefit you more. If you feel like even a simple, I think Murli sir must be knowing, there is a group of riders, WCCG riders, they have done the entire 200 kilometers in the very basic form of cycle, the hero cycles, we used to call them, so they have taken that cycles and they've rode that and they've donated it to people. So only thing is for the, my level is very basic with regard to cycling. So I would like to give that basic information to the listeners who might be having a low basic level of information as well. See, when you when you're riding an old model cycle, hero model cycling, what it does is it's just going to keep your spine straight, and then the body is going to. The spine is entirely straight. All this long distance endurance bikes or race bikes, they just distribute the load. That is a very basic difference between. They do a lot of R&Ds in that, reducing this much degree, that much degree, this much height. But basically, it just distributes the load so that when you ride for a longer distance, this cycle is a little better than your regular cycle. So if you want to do a little more of long distance riding, which is going to give you more pleasure, then invest in cycling. Otherwise, a very simple bike for a 20-kilometer ride a day is more than enough, and that bike is going to cost you only around 10,000. Even if you can get bikes for 5,000 also. A very decent hybrid bike will cost you around 20 to 30,000. That in itself is going to give you the pleasure of having a complete ride. And with regard to food, as I told already, I don't really dissect my food as carbohydrates and proteins. I just eat whatever I like.
And Murli, before winding up, I just want to ask you and all others as to, I'm sure a couple of the viewers sort of got inspired by all this, and they have to start. What resources they have? Is there a WhatsApp group they join, or some number you can suggest, some books to read, or what should, because now if I have to buy a bicycle, then I'll be again Googling or talking to Chat GPT and so on. Which is the easiest way, and how can you all facilitate that?
Yeah, see, we can definitely guide people to buy which cycles, but the fundamental thing is you have to start riding a cycle, whatever you have at home. First, start with that for a couple of months. Then only go for the next cycle. As I told, always start with it, because there you will learn things much faster and you will feel better. These cycles will be available for the price of some 15,000 to 20,000 rupees. and you can get a good hybrid cycle up to 1 lakh also. But even the basic cycles are more than enough. Once you feel it is your passion, then you go for the next level of endurance, and then you go for the upgradation. So there are a lot of things available. There are a lot of people to, for example, in Chennai, there are so many groups. The largest group is WCCG. They call it VR Chennai Cycling Group. Then many of us, like Naveen, rides in a group called as MCBC. So there are some 15, 20 people in that group. So there's so many groups. We run a group called as Psychopaths. So we are hardly around for 30, 40 people, but only 8 or 10 people ride. So a lot of groups are available, and like Dr. Uma said, Mr. Anil Sharma, he runs a group called as Vibrant Velacheri. So there are a lot of people available as mentors to guide youngsters, and they can get in touch with any one of us, and we'll be able to help them with the most practical way, rather than straight away buying a costly cycle and not using it at all. So start at the basics, go to the next level, and go to the next higher level. We can always guide people in this, no issues at all.
Radha, I just want to
Yes,
sir.
ask. So all of us use cycling either as a means of relaxation or minimal exercise, or others use it for endurance and taking part in international competitions, etc. But how about using cycle as a means of public transport? Why don't we do that?
Definitely, yes, sir. Your suggestion is excellent. The only thing what we require is you need to have a proper place to change into your clothes in your workplace. If that can be ensured, I think cycling can be a good commute, because
is that so difficult for people who are at the consultant level like all of us? Is that
no? I think it is just a mindset of not using the cycle. Because many of the hospitals, people think that if they drive a bigger car, you are a bigger doctor. I think we have to break that.
That's the paradox. We drive a most energy efficient vehicle known to the world, bicycle in the morning, and then drive a most energy consuming guzzler to our workspace. And
I think we have to recreate those things back, because for example, I went to a hotel, a 5-star hotel in my cycle. I wanted to ask him, I want to keep it parked in the 2-wheeler parking. So that guy told, sir, it is free for you, you're riding a cycle. So they feel that if you ride a cycle, you are a poor guy. Actually, it is not. My cycle was more expensive than many of the 2-wheelers which were parked there. Again, it is our own mindset. I think if you have a good place to change our clothes into working clothes, and if you have a good thing, I think a lot of people can get converted into this. And second thing is the safety aspect.
Yes.
The cyclists have to be very, very careful when they ride in the mad city traffic. Now we get a lot of good e-bikes also, where you can still commute in the city traffic at 30 kilometers, 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. And your riding time will be as same as a car riding when you look in bigger cities. 8-9 kilometers you can cover in 45 minutes. So the same thing happens with car also. Definitely cycling will be a good commute, and I think that is where we should go in future. This will definitely eliminate a lot of pollution on the roads, lead to a lot of other things. But how to do it safely will be a big question.
So we have Dr. Rajeshri, 1 minute, Vani. We have Dr. Rajeshri, also an avid cyclist, logged in. Dr. Rajeshri, would you like to turn your camera on and speak to us?
I'm audible?
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you, Dr. Rajeshri.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I am also cycling. Last year, I have participated in race across India, but unfortunately, I made an accident. My clavicle was fractured, so I am unable to participate. So my target in this year to complete the SR, and next year I will again participate in a race across India. That's my target is. Routinely I am cycling, and initially just since 1 and 2 months back I have started running also. And again my next target is completing half marathon.
Over to you, Dr. Rajeshri. Vani, you wanted to say something? I think you use cycling for commute and fun, right? Vani, are you still there?
Vidya,
Very
Anjali
much there, Vidya.
Yeah.
I want to say that we have to cycle for fun. My father taught me cycling when I was 7, and from age 60 to 70, he used to cycle to work. I live in a small town called Manipal. I used to cycle to class. And 30 years ago, there were a lot of NRIs. All those cars would stop for their teacher to go by. In St. John's, I cycled to work in Bangalore City. I bought a Hoptown bike for 15,000 rupees. My first bike was when my son was 10 years old. I told him to buy a Ladybird ladies bike. Then I went with my student in St. John's. I'm a gynecologist. At the age of 57, I went to Decathlon. I got onto the cycle in my sari. The engineer was laughing at me because I had gray hair. But for 3 years, I cycled to St. John's in a sari. So I want to tell all the people here who cycle all your big whatever cyclothons or whatever, let us all just cycle to work. Let us just cycle for fun. And my maximum was 20 kilometers in Bangalore. And I just love cycling. I'm no one in Manipal. They won't find our house if you say my husband's name. But if they say cycling doctor, they'll find it. And I agree that there are no roads, safe roads to cycle. And that's why nobody lets me cycle at 69. But I learned cycling young and I learned swimming at 45. And I fractured my ankles 40 years ago. And when they wanted to do ankle fusion, the person told me, you're the only 50-year-old who cycles and swims. So to drown your sorrows as a gynecologist, you can drown it in the swimming pool and you can visit and make friends on cycling. Let's also cycle for fun. Thank you. It was a wonderful session.
Yeah. I think we are, Radhakrishna, you were trying to tell something?
No, I think Anjali Davle wants to say something.
Okay. Anjali, are you there?
Yes, madam, I'm very much there. Excellent session. I missed some initial part of it. Only I use a cycling for a part of exercise, and my kids also started using it long back when they were into the school, but suddenly they have dropped the idea, and later on they have forget now. The cycle is only for a show. But those patients who are a chronic cycle marathons, or those who go to the various races of the cycles, what I have observed them, that one of my patient, she went on a long cycle drive and she developed a perianal fat necrosis because of the chronic sitting, and one doctor had a testicular torsion. And so these precautions are also very important when you are going to take the decision of a long run of the cycle. Use and chronic use makes you more wiser, but on and off we need to see that how is the cushion of the cycle seat which you are using, how is your posture in relation with your pelvis, and the spinal problems, they are also there, which I have observed. Okay, rest of fantastic session, ma'am.
Dr. Rajiv Mahajan, you had your camera on throughout. You seemed very interested. Would you like to add something to the discussion?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, I'm not a cyclist in particular. I'm a fitness person. I walk, I jog, I trek. So I was very keen on listening to the various forms of cycling, starting from the senior most Dr. Amal and the junior guys like Dr. Khanna and all. It was really very interesting for me. I would only like to add that as a fitness enthusiast, over the years, I've been adding more and more things to my fitness. So, of course, VO2 max and all those things when I was a young boy or a young doctor, these things were not talked about, but we have all undergone that kind of training. Lately, then I went on to resistance training. Yoga was always somewhere or the other part of my routine. And nutrition, yes, I'm working with a nutritionist right now and learning a few hacks about nutrition, being a vegetarian now. And sleep, I'm 65 now. So for me, sleep is becoming very important. And the latest fitness hack for myself that I've been trying is to chew my food till it becomes like liquid before I swallow it. So I always believe I was supposed to be, talking about aging gracefully only a few weeks back. So this was the hack that I gave to the general audience. Chew your food nicely. You need a good dentition. People talk of mindfulness and all those things. Start with small basic things. And if one becomes good at one thing, other good things are automatically attracted. And I have never allowed my friends to waste alcohol on me because of my fitness, extreme fitness. I have done the Grand Canyon, I have done some trekkings in extreme mountains, Himachal and South America and all that. But nobody is allowed to waste the alcohol on me. I hope nobody else is consuming alcohol here, the extreme fitness guys. Thank you.
Dr. Gaurav, we wanted to, have some closing comments. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, it has been a very nice session, and everyone shared their experiences, and everyone had common viewpoints, I guess, and there was minimal overlap with all the observations and all those experiences, and everybody shared experiences and their common experiences. And more or less, it was a similar kind of exposure, be it racing cyclist or be it randonneurs or those taking participation in BRMs. And I guess, and I hope that we would have been able to motivate others to get into the fitness. And as very rightly said by Dr. Murli, it not only gives you fitness, it gives you it improves your professional capacity as well. It improves your working power. You feel less tired, your efficiency, your overall efficiency improves, your mental well-being improves, not just your physical well-being. So I think a lot of people will motivate from this talk, and will get into the cycling or any other fitness regime they want to get to in. And I think this has been a very successful, and thanks for organizing and thinking to include this topic for discussion. I really
Gaurav,
thank
you're
everyone.
saying some safety measures you're mentioning.
Yes, sir. I wanted to say that always choose your track very wisely. The timing is very important. Avoid the rush hours. Like usually, I try to come back before 7, because at 7, after 7, the commuters start making the road busy. So choose your track wisely. It should not have any speed breakers. It should not have any right turns or U turns. I used to choose a loop or a lap which have only left turns, so that I don't have to cross the road. So it avoids coming across other people. So, and taking the bottle out of the bottle cage is also very important. So you have to be sure that your next 2 to 3 minutes you can spend break free. You don't need to have to break in next 2 to 3 minutes. Like if a red light is ahead around 500 meters, you should avoid taking bottle out of the bottle cage at that time. You cross the red light, then you take out the bottle, so that you don't have to break while you are sipping in the water. So these are minor safety points which you have to be. Yes, definitely, as Dr. Naveen said, lighting up like a Christmas tree, to be visible on the road is very important, and riding in the group. But what I face as a racing cyclist, I don't get to see my fellows riding at those speeds, so I have to train solo. So I have to be very careful while riding, while training solo. So these are the points which I follow for safety. So I think everybody should follow these to be safe on the road.
So, Saji, you had some points about maintenance and repairing of cycles. Would you like to speak, or would you like one of the panelists to answer? Saji? So the question here is some glitches besides safety. I feel good mechanics are becoming a rarity. You slowly become one learning to clean and tune your bike. I also feel the sports bike doesn't have a proper rear view mirror. Well, if you can fit it, you feel the need, especially in busy streets. If any of the panelists want to comment on that, otherwise we'll go to closing comments from everyone.
So basically, when you are getting a bike, you can so for your early bike can be a decathlon hybrid bikes, which are cheap, and you can get a CMC or an AMC maintenance from them. They are professional in maintaining that bike. So for initial thing, for anybody who wants to get a bike, you can go to decathlon stores near you and you can get a bike there. And with time, you can learn the nuances. regarding the bike service. Some bikes which are very high-end bikes, you may not get the mechanics, so you need to learn them. But that will come as you grow into your journey of cycling.
Ajay, you have your hand up. Would you like to say something? Dr. Ajay Sharma.
Just a simple suggestion that I'm very passionate about promoting organ donation. So, as and when it is feasible, we could really choose our, either a charity or some mission. As I say, encouraging organ donation. So that will be wonderful to join hands. And it has been such a wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Sundari, you had something to add?
Ma'am, quickly I'll finish.
No problem.
I'm from Tamil Nadu. My high school was very far from the village. So my mother told, if you don't want to study, stay home. If you want to study, you shouldn't trouble your father, because my father was cycling 17 kilometers one way for work. And I complained to my father by how boys tease me and all. So he gets angry and she is worried about his health, diabetes and all those things. So I had to learn. I learned the small ladies cycle. My grandfather had a cycle shop. Then when I want to switch over to big cycle, the male cycle, because I always wanted to be a tomboy boy type, I had to restart learning again from that monkey pedal, half pedal, then above the bar and all. I never asked this to anyone yet. Why this? When we learn from small lady cycle to big ordinary male cycle, Hero, Hercules and all, again I have to restart learning. Then when we started going to school by cycle, girls don't do cycling those years in our village. Teachers will come and we are not supposed to overtake the teachers and go. So we have to silently go behind them. If they notice, they might give signal, go ahead. Otherwise, we have to keep pushing the cycle behind them on foot only. But boys will be very smart. They will just go the other side and pretend that they are getting down, and they wouldn't get down and they will go ahead. So when I cleared talent test in 8th standard, my mother asked, what do you want? You want an earring? I said, no, I want a good cycle. Then they got me BSc SLR, and I was riding that for many years, even for work. I worked in Madras Medical Mission. That time we were watching TV in the daytime, afternoon cricket, and somebody stole my cycle and I could never get one. Then when I was working in Vijayawada, my friends who were neurosurgeon and all, they told, we will give to you a cycle, but you have to prove. Then I made journaling, I tried and all, they got me gift. And when I was listening all the panelists, I felt I was going back to that flashback. I used to come drained. I used to go randomly anywhere, everywhere without preparation, simply cycling different routes every day. When we meet these cyclists, they will say, come again, start with us. Then you get the energy. So it was so good. Now I am 54 and I am getting new job in Tirutani, and the owner was asking, will you have a scooty to come for work? I said, I will try a cycle. So I am cutting it short. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for a very, very interactive audience, and thank you to all the busy professionals who probably had to cut short their OPDs or some other work, and maybe Dr. Murli had to refuse some emergency calls today. Thank you very much for making it a very, very interesting and interactive session. We hope to see you more on our Marvelous Medicine series. And for those who are regular Marvelous Medicine viewers, we'll be back next week with a scientific, usual medical topic for Marvelous Medicine. But we promise you that the last Thursday of every month, we'll have something hatke. Good night and keep safe.